Peace, peace, namaste, happy Thursday. So, conversations with Kaz. Hope this comes out all right. I'm in the process of getting real podcast equipment. Um, as to where I could do portable podcasts. As you know, I'm going to school, going to college. I'm still a hood book. I'm still me. Um, as far as clothes on a mannequin, this goes. Um, how you dress me isn't the way I perceive the world, if that makes sense. I'm not for everybody, right? Like, you gotta know me to like me. Because you look at me and you might want to look away, and that's cool, and I like that a little bit. And I'm working on that. That might change too. So, like, this is a process that we're gonna watch growth, and we're gonna watch areas that no longer serve me die out. The whole purpose of the podcast is to build, right? And to ask questions that society doesn't really teach you to ask, right? I say this a lot, from the moment we come out the womb, we seek externally for everything, everything. And then there comes a time where there's like another rebirth here, a mental rebirth, maybe a perspective birth, something. Might be a couple of them, but start to ask this question as to who am I? What's this about? Right? And like, as an addict, a former addict, I still smoke pot, but whatever. Um, I got introduced into this recovery thing, right? And the recovery thing became a springboard into Buddhism and the Tao and all these different avenues, Hinduism. I read into all these religions, right? Spirituality, trying to get to the basis, these questions that are asked, like, where's your perception perceived from? Are you a watcher or observer? Um, and like, peel back the layers of the onion of life, of this reality, this construct, this dimension. And I might lose some people right there. Like, how did, like, even I asked, how did I get there real quick? I was just talking about recovery. Like, what? um, because recovery gave me spiritual principles to live my life by. Because I was an uncivilized motherfucker. I was out here doing whatever I had to do, robbing and stealing. Um, but I became more civilized, right? And I've learned these principles to live my life by. And not to say my parents didn't instill values and morals within me, right? But it can't. I got to a point in my life as to where what anybody taught me didn't matter. My experience became my teacher, and I still seek knowledge, but now I consciously seek it as to where the universe isn't showing me, although it does show me lessons. I'm in tune with it, right? And there's like a lot of things that happened in my life as to where, like, I didn't know a name for it. I didn't have a name for it, like deja vu, shit like that. Like, what is this? What is this about? Until I started to look into hermeticism. Hermeticism. Hermes. I can't say his last name. I'll butcher it. Anyway, the Hermetic principles. There's a book called the Kybalion. There's 7 Hermetic principles. Um, and I'm in a process of getting into that right now, right? But what's dope is, so far from my studies, what I've learned is I kind of know this stuff already, right? And even me going to college, dude, it's college is an institution put in place to certify what you already know. Now, yeah, you learn things and you got to do projects and shit along the way. Um, but most of the things you already know, right? Like, I'm glad I fucked up a little bit. No, not that I don't regret my life, right? But I'm glad that I was able to to gain perspective from everything I did. Like my life was supposed to be the way it was. I believe that, right? Because like if I change one thing, then I wouldn't be the person I am right now, right? And then we could go into this whole from there multiverse theories and shit like that. See, this is the type of places I'm gonna go on the podcast. This is where my mind goes anyway. This is what I do. I'm a weird motherfucker. Like I watch YouTube. I call them YouTube deep dives, and I'll start with like I'll start listening to some new hip hop or whatever, maybe R&B, so maybe country, and then next thing you know, I'm fucking reading into like the Emerald Tabs of Thoth and Dead Sea Scrolls and shit like that. The YouTube algorithm, but my mind has been on this algorithm for a while. I don't know if it's just the setting with what I was going through at that time that put me on this path, or if it's a path that everybody goes on eventually, right? Because I know people older than me that don't even know what's really going on, and then there's people younger than me that do. So it's anyway, this is a rant. Just wanted to throw something up, let everybody know I love you. Like, yo, if you don't got nobody, like, yo, I'm rooting for you. I'm sending that love out, right? Another thing I learned, consciousness, right? There's different levels of consciousness. And as I was like looking into that too, a lot of people consciously work from a place of like anger and pride, right? This vibration that you let off, right? There's stages of the vibration you go to, and then you get to like enlightenment and even beyond. Um, but my podcast is going to be about these conversations, right? Like there's a shitload of professors I'm talking to. I'm talking more with professors nowadays than I am with students there, right? Because the conversation's different. I'm really trying to talk like, yo, I really want to talk. I got something to say, right? And I also like to listen. I like to learn, and within that, like I'm my biggest critic, right? Like my nose is too big. I gotta get my teeth fixed and shit. And like I'm working, I don't nose is alright though. It's alright, but I gotta get my teeth fixed, right? And like I become a self conscious person about like I can't really do that. I gotta try to come in and shit like that makes me realize I still got more work to do. Right? And not because I think people are gonna care, right? It's because I care. It's a reminder every time I look at like the decisions I made, right? And this is something that's really cool is like this concept of being a friend to yourself, right? Like what I do now dictates my future. Like I take these I make these decisions now. I go to school now and then couple years it will pay off as to where I'll be able to do what I want and I'll have the degree to do so instead of being just a money man in the back. And I want to be hands on with what I want to do. I want to open up I am going to open up a therapy center, probably some sober houses too, alternative things. um I got these a lot of ideas and I'm starting to execute, and I'm cutting people out of my life. I'm realizing some of my the biggest supporters, right? Like a couple of genuine people I've known for years, but like the people I really thought were my friends don't really support me as to what I want to do unless it's benefiting them. And that's something I realized. Like people aren't gonna have your vision, and I got my vision and I live with intent and I live in a certain way as to where things are coming my way. And this is a cultivation process. Like I know this podcast shit ain't gonna pop right away. But I'm gonna stay consistent, keep putting it out, keep putting it out, keep putting it out. And I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna be having a lot of cool fucking conversations coming. It's gonna be over time. I'm gonna get a nice video set up and shit like that. I don't know if it's gonna be conversations with Kaz. It might be conscious conversations. It might be college conversations, and be a different podcast. A whole bunch of different shit. Basement banner. Listen, I love you all. God bless.